All right, this is it. My name's Jeff K, and you're listening to episode 292 of the world-famous West Virginia Surf Report podcast.
Hello, world.
And we're back, broadcasting once again from deep underneath a nondescript home in suburban Pennsylvania. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for streaming. Reel to reel, whatever method you use. Reel to reel. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're not in the eye of the storm or in the path of the eye of the storm. I was just upstairs and Tony had I think it was the Weather Channel on, watching the hurricane, Ian from Scotland. I think that's what it's called. The Hurricane Ian from Scotland, bearing down on Florida. Hope all goes okay down there. I don't want any, maybe I'll take an abrupt, maybe I'll just turn around and go back the opposite direction. Is that the way weather works? Weather. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing all right. I'm doing fine. It's Wednesday morning. As I said, it's kind of overcast, gray, kind of fall-like. There's a little bit of briskness in the air. Or in other words, perfection. When I was a kid, I used to love this kind of weather. Even back when I was a kid. I can remember being driven to school. I walked most of the time. I walked in elementary school. Can you imagine letting an elementary school kid walk to school every day? They don't do that anymore. The parents take them all the way up to the door and then wrap them in cellophane and or bubble wrap or whatever, and just send them hand them over reluctantly, scared, terrified to let them out of their eyesight. But anyway, we used to walk there. Like, all right, just get it's only like 8 blocks. It's time to go. Take your Harlem Globetrotters lunchbox and hit the road, buddy. So anyway, but when it was raining and stuff, I would get a ride. My parents, I guess, or my mom or something. And I can remember riding to school, and it's this exact weather, this kind of weather, kind of cold, a little windy, like just overcast and rainy. I'm like, I love this. I love this weather. Even when I was a little kid, I loved it. But anyway, so that's the way it is. Did you walk? By the way, did you take a bus to school? I never did. Never in my life. I lived in Dunbar, West Virginia, and all my schools were within walking distance. The elementary school was the farthest, and I was a little kid. My parents were like, "All right, it's time to go to school." And the junior high, I never, even in high school, it feels like I walked like 50% of the time. When I did drive, I was causing mayhem, like when I was, splashing my cousin. Remember he called in about that, where he was a safety patrol, and I would like drive through the mud hole and just splash. It wasn't just him; it was anybody, any of those safety patrols up and down Myers Avenue, there'd be standing water, and there'd be a patrol standing there, and I'd hit them with a big Hawaii 5-0 wave, That was great fun. Remember that? But anyway, so that happened, and that's the way it is right now. It's overcast, gray, rainy, beautiful. Love it. I was thinking about doing I'm not going to get into that. I'll just tell you what I just jump right into it. When I was in West Virginia, I recently, we completed our West Virginia trip, and I went over the whole details of it in the last episode, which happened to be a Patreon episode. Tell you the whole story of everything that happened. Well, the stuff that's interesting, or semi-interesting. And you can listen to that if you're a patron over on episode 291. If you're not a patron, I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, for $4 a month, you can hear all those bonus episodes, including that one about our West Virginia trip. And I also posted a bunch of pictures just recently. So if you want to check that out, it's over at surfreportpod.com. And all the pictures are there of, there's 20 pictures, I think, taken during our trip. Me and the older boy went down there and spent a few days with my parents. And it was a good trip overall. The driving down sucked. And the driving back was somewhat better for whatever reason. But the driving down there was like terrible. My ass was like pancaked down to it. It was like, I don't know. I was a mess. My ass, there was no blood flow to my ass. Terrible. I was in pain. My butt bones were digging into the upholstery. It was a terrible situation. But anyway, you can hear about that whole thing. $2.91 is the episode. It's over on Patreon. You can go to surfreportpod.com and look at the pictures I took, some of them, and give you an overview of what we did. That was fun. But anyway, when we were down there was some pictures. You go to see your family. Pictures are taken. I happened to see a picture that I'm in. Somebody else took it. I'm in the photograph, and I was shaken to my core. I was taken aback by this picture. I look like Humpty Dumpty. Like, what in the hell? Look at that fat son of a bitch. I couldn't believe it. Well, I know. I'm not a fool. I know that I'm a portly gentleman. But, I feel like things have gotten out of control. There's a ceiling, there's plateaus to your fatness. I don't know if you're aware of this. But there are, like, plateaus, and I've been in a plateau for a long time. I reached a plateau, a fatness plateau, and now I feel like I've gone past it, heading towards a new plateau, and I don't know what that is. I don't even know what that is. It might be one of those things where I'm just in a bed all the time, covered in a sheet. I'm like naked in a bed, just covered in a sheet, and I'm going to start growing like dreadlocks or something. I don't know. And then people are going to start bringing me food in. And then I'm going to have chest pains, and they're going to have to take the front windows out of the house to get me. I think that's the next plateau. I don't know. I have no idea. That's the scary part. It's fear of the unknown. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like I've busted the plateau that I've been on for a long time. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Who? Look at that guy. That's me? What happened? My God." Like, how did this happen? I know it's a cumulative thing. It happens over a long period of time, and you don't really notice it when you're living it. Or even the people that live with you. They don't notice it because it's a gradual, slow, slowly. But then I haven't seen any pictures of myself in a long time. I try to steer clear of that for obvious reasons. I don't want to be in a bunch of photographs. If I do, it's just my head, and even that's grown. I feel like I'm gaining weight in my head. Whew. But anyway, so I saw this picture, and I was like, "Oh my God, I got it." Something. Seriously, you're gonna get the diabetes. You're gonna have a heart attack or something. You look like hell. Like, what has happened? Oh, anyway. So anyway, I come back, right? And my ass is pancaked, sitting in that chair. God, it's a long drive. We're going to go to Myrtle Beach. I'll talk about that later on in the episode. It's an even farther drive than this. I don't know, but anyway. So I came back, and I was bitching about it, and I was like, I saw a picture. I was telling Tony the whole thing. She goes, "Well, you do something." I said, "Yeah, sounds good in theory, but it requires." But then, I don't know what happened. I don't know recently. I've been back, over a week, And I didn't do anything. I just continued living my terrible life that got me there, the source of the problem. I continued with the source, which is fast food and not a whole lot of activity and beer and, just not good. Just soda at work. Like I drink, I always drink usually like one Mountain Dew. I don't drink a whole lot of soda, but not like a lot of people. But sometimes if I need a little boost of caffeine, I'll get a Mountain Dew, because I don't drink coffee at night. When I drink coffee up until like lunchtime, and then I switch over to something. I usually drink water right after that, and then at some point, I don't know. When I get home from work, I drink a couple beers. I don't drink an enormous amount. I drink more than a couple on the weekends. I'm not some drunkard, but I drink. I'm getting into this cycle where I'm drinking like pretty much every day. Like when I get home from work, I'll drink 2, sometimes 3 beers. Not that it's not that much, but it's too much. You know what I mean? It's not good for your weight, and it's probably not good for anything. So anyway, I continued down that road, and what happened? I don't know. I was talking to this guy at work, and he was telling me about some show he went to. And while he was talking to me, I was like, this guy's lost a lot of weight, I said, how'd you lose all that weight? And he started telling me, he said, it's protein is the key when you get a little bit older. I said, who you calling old? No. He goes, protein? He goes, I went to a nutritionist. He was telling me all this stuff. He said, protein, try to cut. He goes, you don't have to completely cut carbs out. You don't have to completely cut sugar out. But you should be conscious of what you're eating. And you eat as much protein as you can, because it counterbalances, it counteracts against the sugar and the carbs. And he goes, and just try to walk more, and just try to make better choices. Don't drink soda. I said, yeah, okay. So, but that was before I left. So that wasn't the one. I don't know. Just recently, just a couple of days. Well, Sunday I was having some kind of a mini meltdown. I know you might find this hard to believe, but I was like, I'm some fat bastard. I look like the Humpty. I look like Humpty. Mr. Dumpty. I look like. I got to do something. I was having some kind of meltdown in here a second time. The first time wasn't as big a meltdown as Sunday. I can't remember. But anyway, I said, that's it. I'm not doing it anymore. I downloaded this app. I had it before, called Lose It. It's supposed to be really good. I had it before, and it was good. It's supposedly as good as like some of the big pay apps. It has a premium version. I don't know about that. But I downloaded the free one. I downloaded this app that counts your steps. It's supposed to be a good one too. I can't remember what it's called. Hang on a second, I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll link to it. You can, I don't know if you want to give a shit really. Let me see. Hang on a second. It's called Pedometer Step Counter. Highly rated though. I also had that on my old phone. Keeps track of your steps. If you have your phone in your pocket or on you somewhere, keeps track of it, and it gives you all kinds of data. So I put those on my phone. I started tracking my food intake. I bought those Boost. I mentioned this last time, I think. Those Boost protein drinks, which is another thing this guy at work was talking to me about. He goes, those things are good. He goes, I tried a whole bunch of them. It gives you more protein, which is the key. He kept saying protein is the key. And it's you can use it almost, it's like thick chocolate. It tastes like chocolate milk. It tastes good, And it's only 8 ounces. And you can skip a meal. You can drink one of those things and skip a meal, maybe a lunch or something, So I started drinking those. Tony went out and bought me a 6-pack of those things, and I don't know. I've drank a couple of them already, and they're good. I drank one a day since I had my mini meltdown. And, they're good, and they keep you full, and they're loaded with protein, which is what you're looking for. So I did all this, and I have not had any fast food at all. I have not had any soda at all, just water and coffee. Haven't had any beer. And, it's only been a few days, but I got on the scale this morning. Yeah, you're supposed to only do it once a week, but I wanted to see if there's any progress. And I've been walking. Like last night, that step counter said you're 600 steps away from your goal, right? I put some arbitrary number in there. And I said, all right, well, I'm going to walk around this building. So I was at work, and I did a whole lap around the perimeter, just walked around, put myself over my goal. I wouldn't have done that before. So, making these tiny little changes. I need to get on the treadmill. Maybe I'll do that after I finish recording here. I need to get on that thing, and I got on the scale this morning, 5 pounds already. Just making those small changes. 5 pounds down, about 1 million to go. But every journey starts with one step. I don't know if anybody's ever heard that before. I might have just made that up myself. I don't know. Anyway, so that's what's happening. I got to do something. Yeah, I got to do something. I look like absolute hell. I look like an Easter egg. Look like a walking, talking Easter egg. I was like, good Lord. And I go out in public like this? I walk around amongst others looking like this? It was a slap across the face, a punch to the gut. Anyway, I was talking to somebody. I was telling about that conversation at work when I asked this guy. I said, "How did you lose so much weight?" Somebody said, "You asked him that?" And I said, "What the hell's wrong with that? Is that controversial?" If somebody said, "How'd you lose all that weight?" I'd be, "Well, let me tell you." And that's exactly what he did. But somebody's like, "Oh, I would never ask somebody about their weight." See, that's the problem. That's the problem with people. I find that people generally don't ask enough questions. And it's frustrating to me. People in this house and other people that I interact with on a regular basis don't ask enough questions. I'm always asking questions. And because I'm curious about stuff. I want to know. I want to know things, And other people are either A, not curious at all, which is a problem in my view, or B, they're so freaking timid that they're going to offend somebody. I don't think that's appropriate. I hear that all the time. Well, I don't think that's an appropriate question to ask. Why? There are inappropriate questions to ask, and I know what they are. Like if it had been the other direction, if this guy was talking to, put on a 75 pounds, and I said, "What the hell happened? What kind of choices are you making? How did you allow this to happen?" But losing weight, that's generally a positive thing, right? And it didn't even cross my mind that it was inappropriate, and it wasn't. He was fine. We talked about it for a long time. But people are either A, have no curiosity, and I find that there's a lot of that out there, and I don't understand that. You're not curious about things. I'm always curious about everything. And I want to know, and I ask questions, and I get answers. People will generally answer your question. Even when I'm interviewing somebody, like I don't want to start talking about work, but I've done hundreds and hundreds of interviews. I just ask people, so why are you not working there anymore? Sometimes you'll get they'll just tell you straight up, Why are you not? Well, tell me a little bit about your work history. I was at blah, blah, blah for 8 years, but I'm not there anymore. Why? Why are you not there anymore? And people are like, I don't know if that's an appropriate question. Like, the hell it isn't. It's extremely relevant and appropriate, And they'll tell you, some people. Some people are smart enough to beat around the bush. Some people will just say, well, my attendance was terrible, or whatever. I mean, just come right out and tell you. So I don't know, but it just in general, in my life, I ask a lot of questions. I ask cashiers questions. I ask just people, and I feel like I'm in the minority on that deal. Do you ask a lot of questions? I think it's important. You learn things about the world and life and people and the way people think. So anyway, all that happened. I'll give you some updates. I got to maintain this thing. I can't, if I stay away from fast food, I think just doing that, because I was eating way too much fast food. It's easy. I was talking to Tony about that. It's easy. It's relatively inexpensive, although not that inexpensive. It's not inexpensive anymore, but that's the way you think of it. It's easy, it's inexpensive, and it's damn good. It tastes fantastic, and that's a dangerous combination. And so eating healthy generally takes a little bit of effort, and it costs more, which sucks. But so there's a little bit of a, you got to put a little bit of effort into it, and that's, you got all kinds of things going on in your life. You don't want to deal with one more hassle. I understand that. Shit, I've lived it. But so now you got these options where, well, I could just head on over to frickin' Chipotle or something, or whatever, McDonald's, Burger King, whatever, thousands of different options. It's easier and it's faster and it tastes good, and it's 10 years later you're a mess. You look like me. You can see the cumulative effect. So just doing that part, should be huge. And I don't drink all that much soda, but I do drink. I do drink it sometimes because I need a little boost, of caffeine. You drink one of those things, it's like loaded with caffeine. I don't drink any of those energy drinks. I've never had one in my life, and I never will. And any of that stuff. So I'm guilty of drinking those things at work sometimes. We don't have soda at our house ever. We never have soda here. Tony doesn't buy it, and if there on the rare occasion that there is, I'm the one buying it. I go out and buy like one of those 12 packs that you put in the fridge with the dispenser. You know what I mean? Everyone, maybe like twice a year. I don't know. I get it in my head I want some. So anyway, but it's rare. So I don't drink, but cutting that out good as well. And the beer, I'm not good. I'm cutting back. I'm not drinking during the work week. I'm not drinking any more of that shit. That's not good. Drink 2-3 beers while you're watching a Perry Mason. That's not good. I mean, it's you're taking the edge off from another day of a quote. I don't know. Opportunities. Another day of opportunities, and you're like, oh God. You go home, you fire up a Perry Mason. I mean, I'm sure everybody's in the same boat, right? Come home, Perry Mason. And you crack. There's a fridge in here in the bunker. And just grab a beer out of there, and drink 2, sometimes 3. That's not good. Not good. So I'm cutting that out too. I'm walking more. I'm gonna get on this. I'm gonna get on this treadmill. I'm walking, tracking my steps. I'll keep you up to date on that thing. What else? Oh, by the way, I was talking to Tony about this too. If I were to successfully lose weight, a substantial amount of weight, and I'm not talking about, I don't expect to get down to 170 or something like that. I'm realistic. I just want to cut off maybe like, I want to cut off, go down to an acceptable. I just want to be a normal American overweight. I don't want to, I'm not looking to be, like Charles Atlas or anything. I want to be just like I want to get down to I don't want to give you numbers because it's embarrassing, but I'll tell you, I don't want to. I just want to be. I'm not expecting to lose all the way down to 165 pounds or something like that. But if I did lose a substantial amount, I'm worried that I would look really old, because one of the benefits of being fat is it's like nature's Botox. It pushes out. Like I said, I was like I'm gaining weight in my head. My head is gaining weight, and it just pushes out the wrinkles. There's no wrinkles. There's no smooth, man. You look young because you're fat. And it's like nature's Botox. And I know people, and I'm not going to name any names, but there are people that I know who are roughly my age, and they're skinny, and I don't want to be heartless, but they, a little bit of a scrotum, a little scrotum face, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want that. I can't walk around with a scrotum face. I mean, I got nature's Botox working for me. It's like pressing out the face fat is pressing out all the wrinkles. Once you take that down, you start lowering that, the face fat factor. I mean, you're like old. You got a scrotum face. That's no good. That's not good. So that's a concern. But I need to get down. I need to lose some weight. We're supposed to go to England next year. And I don't want to be a big fat ass sitting in there. Like, I'd probably have to get some extender belt on the airplane. Here, see those people? Can I get the extender, please? I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy where they have to bring out extra equipment, But anyway, I don't want to, enough of that. Jeez Louise. Baseball's almost over. Week and a half. The Reds are in complete free fall. I don't know what's going on. You know what they did? I don't know. The last couple of months of the season, they said, to hell with it. We're not in this anymore. We're just going to bring up all our future stars. Well, they hope they're stars. They're prospects. They got young people playing at almost every position. So all these guys, they're all young rookies type, rookies or recently rookies, So they got this lineup that's basically AAA baseball, and they're getting their ass handed to them night after night after night. These guys are getting a trial by fire, They're like getting called up and they're playing them every day, Some of them are doing okay, most of them aren't. They're probably freaking out, They're like their entire life is about baseball since they've been like 5-6 years old, and now they've been working towards this goal, and they're finally playing on a Major League Baseball team in Major League stadiums in front of Major League crowds, and they're probably freaking out. I mean, it's human nature, right? And I don't know. I mean, they're playing them every single day. They're just out there every day, just run out there every day, and they're not doing too well. They're getting their ass handed to them on a daily basis. They're losing. They're heading towards. There's a possibility that they'll lose 100 games. I don't know. I don't think they're going to get there, but it's going to be close. They're not winning. They're losing every day. They lose to the Pirates. The Pirates are no good. The Pirates are worse than the Reds. They lose to them over and over. They're playing them all the time. I don't know why. I don't know who makes these schedules, but they're playing the Pirates all the time. They're losing every day. So anyway, the season's almost over. Then we go into they'll have the playoffs, which lasts for, I don't know, like 3 months. I don't know. And then the World Series, and then it's over. And then you got the whole winter, just a vacuum, a sucking vacuum of no baseball. It's terrible. It's like such a huge part of my life. Every day, it's all I think about baseball all the time. And I follow it, and I read about it. I listen to every game or watch it on TV, and it's going to be all gone. I think there's only I think next weekend is the end of it. The end of the season. The Reds are nowhere near the postseason. They're not anywhere close to making the playoffs. So it's over. I don't know what they're going to do in the off season. they don't have, their payroll is so low. They got rid of all the people. I mean, they still have a couple of guys that, they can't offload. But for the most part, they got rid of anybody who was making any kind of money. So their payroll is like, real low. And I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what their plans are. I mean, I know there's a plan to use, the farm system more and develop young talent. But I don't know what, they can't go into next season with this lineup. They're going to have to do something. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. But anyway, it's almost over. It's going to be a sucking vacuum in the middle of my life. No baseball. What am I going to do? I mean, it's a painful thing. I couldn't give two shits about football. You can take that sport and pack it. And I like basketball even less. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about college football. I don't care about pro football. I don't care about basketball at all. I don't care about auto racing. I don't care about golf. I only care about baseball. That's the only thing I care about. Sports related. Tony loves tennis. I'll watch that too. I like that better than watching the NFL or something. Anyway, that's coming. It's sad. It makes me sad when I think about it. And we've reached the end of this thing. I do have a couple more things. It'll hold. Oh, I want to talk to you before we go. Have you ever been to Portland, Maine? I know it's an unusual question. Do you know anything about Portland, Maine? So I follow these accounts on Instagram, and one of them is Beer Advocate. All these craft beer accounts. Beer Advocate's one of the best. They ask these questions on Instagram and Facebook, I guess. And yesterday they said, "What are your top 5 beer cities?" And somebody said, "Are you talking about breweries? Are you talking about brew pubs?" And the guy and they said, "Beer." All right, just answer the question, fancy pants. Quit with the questions. It's like at work when we give out free T-shirts or something. I have to go around getting people's sizes. They're like, "Are these French cut or are these lady?" It's a T-shirt. It's a T-shirt. All right. Are these scoop neck or something? Like, what the? Just answer the question. I don't have all day. It's like that. It's like that thing. It's like beer cities. Is this brew pubbery? like, all right. The guy said, "No, I'm talking about beer." All right. So there's hundreds of answers on there. And I was scrolling through, Asheville, North Carolina, well-known beer mecca. And, other places like San Diego and places, there's all these, the answers are pretty predictable. But Portland, Maine kept coming up over and over and over again. And somebody on there said, Portland, Maine is quietly, becoming a beer mecca. And people don't really realize this. And people were saying it over and over and over again. And I was like, Portland, Maine? So I went on Google Maps. It's 6 hours from here. It's not that far. I don't know if I've ever even been to Maine. I don't know if I've ever been in that state. I've been all up in there and up in those New England states, but I don't know if I ever went that far north. I told Tony, I said, maybe we should check out Portland, Maine, do a beer vacation, because I was reading about it. I guess it's pretty happening. I don't know. You familiar with that? You know anything about Portland, Maine, and their beer culture? I don't know. I mean, check that out. I remember. Anyway, I won't go into that. But anyway, I was just curious if you knew anything about that. Never been there. Don't know anything about it. Don't think I've ever been to Maine. I don't know how many states I've been to. It's probably like half of them. I don't know. Somewhere in that neighborhood. Maybe I should make a list. How many states you been to? I'm asking a lot of questions here. Told you I ask questions. What do you want from me? All right. Before I go, I want to ask you another question, and maybe you can call in if you have anything on this. I'm going to do an episode probably next week about junior high horror stories or just junior high, memorable stories from your junior high years, which is a volatile time of your life, or at least mine. I mean, I can only speak for myself. That's a rough, that was like a pit of vipers. Dunbar Junior High School was like a pit of vipers. I'd like to get if you have anything on that, I'm gonna do a whole episode, and I'd like for people to call in and be a part of that show. So give me a call, 570-290-8151. Call me around the clock. It doesn't have to be about junior high. It can be about anything, but specifically, if you have any memories, painful memories, or funny, it could be funny, whatever, memories of your middle school / junior high years. And in my case, it was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. That's what it was. I don't know. I don't make the rules. That's what it was. 7th, 8th, and 9th grades. That was our junior high. So if you have anything on that, give me a call. 570-290-8151 is the number. Also, if you want 2 episodes a week instead of a measly one, easily fixed. You can make that adjustment right now by going to patreon.com. That's Patreon, patreon.com/JeffK. Sign up for a $4 or more monthly donation. $4, that's all it is. That's a small amount of money. You put it on a credit card, you won't even notice it's gone. And in return, you know what you will notice? You get an extra episode of this podcast. Starting to talk too fast. You get an extra episode of this podcast every single week. So you will notice that, but you won't notice the $4. Man, it's a win-win. So patreon.com/JeffK. And I mentioned surfreportpod.com is the website for it's the podcast website. There's great stuff there. Support materials and photographs, links, things. Is support the stuff I talk about, stuff I ramble about. So check that out too, surfreportpod.com. I put 20 pictures from our recent West Virginia trip up there under episode 291, so check that out if you're interested. And I think that'll do it. There's more, but you know the score. It's all in the show. It's all in the show notes. So hope you guys are doing well. Until next time, which will be over on the Patreon side. I will what? Man, what is wrong with me? I can't do this. I can't do the closeout anymore. Until next time, which should be over on the Patreon site. I hope you guys have yourselves a great, great day. Is that right? Anyway, I'll see ya. Bye. But the Humpty, I look like Humpty.